Oh, hi everyone. This is a second part of a two-part video. This is the second part, and the first part is already up. So you should all watch that first if you haven't already. This is the second part, so you're going to be kind of confused if you just go into this one without watching the first one. So go watch the first part on my channel, or maybe there's a link to it in the description or something. I don't know. Just find it. Find part one on my channel. It shouldn't be hard to find, just do that, yay. I'm so good at these things. Well, it's time for episode 5. If you're wondering why my shirt keeps changing, it's because I keep filming this on different days. If I was doing this all in one day, I'd be going completely insane.
What is he doing in there? Yes, Commander, what is it?
Did I mention this show is really weird?
Hey, Grim. Professor Jack has located the enemy soldier that beat you a little while ago.
Alright, I better get moving.
Yay! We finally get to see the plot start moving ahead! Oh my goodness, I've been waiting for this for so long!
There he is, right from the base.
See, this is why this show would be so much worse if my brother wasn't in it. Can any of you do that with a shovel? Can any of you do what he just did?
Check on my weapon.
The audio is so great. You can tell we had really good sound equipment at our disposal. And also, I love how there's a car going by while we're doing this. I feel so bad for that person. They must just be driving down the road and then they just see kids doing this outside their window and filming it.
Stop! Pull over.
For some reason, I don't know why, it's never said, I get pulled over by a cop, even though it's just a teenager with a helmet and a hat on at the same time, and he's on a bike, and he has a Pikachu. By the way, this next scene is incredible. I'm just gonna let it play out.
I'm Officer Joey. I have a taser. Do you have any idea why I pulled you over?
I'll have you know that I'm a special agent, Tom Grimm.
Oh, the Special Forces. I've always wanted to be one myself, and police officer works too. I'm also specially trained in Kung Fu battle meditation.
Okay, never mind, I'm not gonna let this play out. I feel so bad for my friend in this scene. You can tell that he's clearly never acted before and he has no idea what he's doing, and he's tired, and he's swatting a fly away with his hand, and he doesn't know how to memorize lines, and he's just being directed by us who don't know what we're doing. He probably just wants to go home and relax and do something fun like video games or watch TV, but no, he has to go to his friend's house and help him film a stupid short. Joey, if you're watching this right now, I apologize for everything.
I'm chasing down a serious criminal, and I could use some help.
Of course I'll help you. I'll use some of my Kung Fu battle meditation.
Hey, there he is! Come on, we gotta go after him!
I have to meditate first.
Joey's character in this show, though, is my favorite of all the characters. Why? Because he's not a copy off another character from another thing. He's basically his own character. I remember my brother and I were just sitting down and trying to think of a new character to add, so we were just like, why don't we have a police officer guy that has a Pikachu as a taser, and he and he really likes doing battle meditation, whatever that is, and he's like Chuck Norris, and he's a badass, and that's a great idea for a character, so we just did it. It isn't a character that's ripped off from something else. It's literally just one that we genuinely created. We didn't rip it off straight from Stupid Mario Bros. Like the rest of the characters were ripped straight from. This is just our own character. And even though Joey clearly has no idea what he's doing, he's clearly having a lot of fun with this character. Unless that's just my nostalgia clouding my judgment, but yeah, I like this character.
I caught the criminal. I told you Kung Fu battle meditation works.
But how'd you get here faster than me? I didn't even see you go by.
Battle meditation.
Let's get this fool back to the base.
Already on it.
See, this is the things I like about this show. It's just a dumb show that knows it's stupid and it just embraces it. And this is one of those moments where it's just so weird and out there, and it just, of course it's still bad, but we know that it's bad, which is one of my favorite things about the show, at least when we're trying to take it seriously and make like a drama when we had no capabilities to do that. Oh yeah, also Joey literally just rode off on his bike without the enemy soldier with him, even though he said he was going to bring him back, and I just broke the fourth wall again.
Thanks, Officer Joey. I'll take it from here.
Just remember, if you need my help, I have a taser.
The editing in this show is so bad. I haven't even brought that up. There's so many parts where there's just like a gap before we even start talking, where we're not saying anything because we're setting up the shot and we don't have a script, and we're just kind of like thinking what to say, and there's so many pauses where that happens where we could have just cut it out, but we didn't. It's still in the shot. So as a result, there's a lot of really awkward pauses in dialogue, and also the acting is obviously awful, and the film equipment is terrible because it's just this like little flip camera and that's all it is, and we filmed the whole show with that. But that was already obvious. You already knew all of those things. And now we get into an interrogation scene where Tom tries to get the information out of the enemy soldier of where the base is. Yay.
Where's the base? Where's the base? Please?
Guys, I gotta say, those are just the most realistic punches I've ever seen in the history of ever. Those look so real. I can't believe that actually on set they didn't actually punch each other. Like it's the most real thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my goodness, it was so good. I can't even comprehend how good those punches were. Oh! Also, how did Professor Jackson and Tom suddenly come to the conclusion that there's an enemy base that this enemy soldier goes to? He just looks like this crazy dude. Like, how did he know that there's an enemy base and he's a soldier? How did we even know these things? Like, I really shouldn't be questioning this, but I don't care. I'm gonna nitpick everything because it's my show.
We'll have to get our specialist in here.
He's here.
Where's the base? 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 Where's the
Alright, don't talk! The base is—
And then we leave it on a cliffhanger where the guy doesn't even finish his sentence. Yay! Everyone really wants to know where the base is! Oh, that's such a good cliffhanger. I actually genuinely enjoy that episode. I think it's better than the other ones. Like, even though it's still bad and terrible and all those things, I think there was actually some okay ideas in this one that were actually pulled off decently, I guess. I think it's just better than the other one. But again, maybe that's just my nostalgia for this show. Maybe that's just clouding my judgment of what this episode is, actually. But now let's get into one of my actual favorite episodes of the entirety of Tom Grimm, and that is episode 6. This episode once again starts with somebody playing a video game. Yay, I love it when that happens. Whoa. It's so good. You can barely hear him say the N sound before the word no, so it basically just sounds like, oh! Completely my fault though, because of the bad editing. So Robert tells me that I need to go on an adventure to find the secret base because Professor Jackson knows where it is and Tom is gonna go there, I guess. And for some reason, Robert wants somebody to accompany Tom on this adventure. So somehow Tom knows exactly where the guy from the last episode is, which is outside of my house in the front yard. And he just knows where to find him and everything. He just decides to bring him on the journey. Logic. This sequence that's being led into is actually like my favorite sequence in the entirety of Tom Grimm. I think it's actually really funny and well done, and like I said many times, it's really weird, but we just embraced it and went forward with it, and I think it actually paid off here. This is actually genuinely a thing that I actually find good. Is that not funny to anyone else? Is it just funny to me because I'm the one that made it and it's nostalgic for me? Am I the only one? Tom just automatically knows where Officer Joey is, and then he takes off the elephant's masks and goes sick. It's amazing. I love it. I love that moment. Also, the zapping effect is also kind of cool. Kudos to my dad for doing that. Thanks, Dad. My biggest problem with this sequence, though, is that you can barely tell that the elephant guy isn't Tom Grimm. He's supposed to be a completely different character. He's supposed to be some random nut job on the street. But I didn't even change my clothes because I was too lazy to do so, and I just had a thing, and it was supposed to be a completely different character. Like, I could have just changed clothes or had somebody else play this guy, but no, it just had to be me in the same clothes. So it's hard to tell the first time you watch it who that is or what's going on. And at first you probably think that Joey's beating up Tom himself, even though they were friends in the last episode. So it's like, what? But other than that, I really like this sequence. We tried. We didn't try a lot, but we tried, at least.
Officer Joey,
Yes.
I'm gonna take a trip to the enemy base. Would you like to come along?
Only if you need the help of a Kung Fu battle meditation master.
I'm gonna take a trip to the airport. We'll need to get closer to the enemy base.
Okay, I'm on it.
Okay then.
Wait a minute, so why is Joey immediately going on this big journey with Tom that could risk his life? Like this big mission with this guy he just met. Like, why is he doing this? I mean, like, he just met him, and he mentioned that he wanted to be part of the Special Forces, but they never established a friendship that would have made him want to go on a mission with him. Like, what? I don't understand why this would happen, but what else is new?
Our enemies have been taking control of the airport. I know how to stop them. I'll show them on a weapon.
Okay, so I gotta explain the backstory behind this gun here in this episode. Basically, when I was a very, very young kid, my grandfather built a lot of stuff. So he used to have us draw things on a piece of paper of what he wants us to build for us, and we would get that. He would basically build it for us in like a few weeks or months or something like that, and then he'd send it over to us. And that's what this was. Basically what I was trying to do when I drew this. I was very little, so my mind was... I didn't have a brain. So I just tried to draw this pistol that has a bunch of things coming out of it so that I could shoot like a bunch of bullets at once, which makes no sense. And I'm sure my grandpa was really confused when he got that drawing too, but he still sent it to me and he made it. So we decided, let's use that in the show to be funny, and I think it paid off. There's actually like some cool special effects here, thanks to my dad. Like, we had the zapping thing, we had the gun effect. I mean, it doesn't look real, but like, it looks cool for what we were doing with no budget. Also, the thing with the enemy soldiers in the airport is literally me and Jake. We were on a green screen and we were shrunk down to fit into those giant hole things, and we pretended to shoot guns. And it's pretty cool. I actually like this sequence. See, I'm actually being positive about my work for once. Like, since when is that a thing? I better fix that immediately.
We did it! We beat them. Let's go.
Are you on the plane yet?
Yes, we're on the plane, and we're headed for the designated coordinates.
There were some moments in that episode that I really genuinely like. And the ending right there that you just saw was not one of them. So we were in a rush because Joey and I had to go to a birthday party right after we shot this thing. So we were in a rush to finish the shoot on time, basically, of the episode. Like, we couldn't schedule another day because we had no idea how to do any of that. So we were in a rush, so we decided it would be funny to film ourselves in a car and say it was a plane, I guess. We, for some reason, thought it would be funny to do that. And we basically filmed Robert's part. Robert is supposed to be in a completely different area calling us, but we just filmed it in the car because we were lazy and we were in a rush and we didn't film him against the wall. Like, we could have filmed that later, but we just decided to film him in the car and keep that in. Why? I don't know. I was a lazy kid. The lighting is awful. It looks so bad, but other than that, I actually enjoy this episode. Again, maybe it's my nostalgia glasses kind of screwing me up and making me sentimental over here, but I actually enjoy that episode. Not in a hilariosity sense. I actually genuinely enjoy it. So there were actually 2 episodes that I didn't mind as much rewatching these. So now it's time to get to another terrible episode, and that is episode 7, which is awful. Basically, we had no idea what to do for this episode. We needed to make an episode 7, and we just kind of were like, what do we do for this episode? Let's have us walk around in a play structure the entire episode and do nothing. That's what we'll do for this episode. We don't know what to do, so let's do that. Let's do that! Also, we need to pad the runtime, so we need to have Commander Robert and Professor Jackson have their own subplot back at the command center, because we need to pad the runtime.
It came.
Yay, woohoo. More video game references, yay. I remember when we did this episode, the new game, Super Mario 3D World, came out very recently, so we were like, hey, let's tie that into the episode. I don't know why we thought that would be a good idea, but we did it. Yay! More footage to pad the runtime! Yay! I love that stuff! You can literally tell in these scenes that they're not headed for a specific direction. We just had them go in slightly different places and just walk at the camera or walk to the side, and that was it. That was all it was. We're clearly not going in a certain direction. We're just walking in random places. It's weird. Literally the shot before this, we were heading in an area that had no sign of swings. So why is there all of a sudden swings there?
I'm gonna scout ahead, Joey.
You do that.
What are you doing?
Playing Cookie Clicker.
Come on, let's go.
Okay.
Why do you need to scout ahead? What is the purpose of scouting ahead? I assume there was a time jump between when Joey was on the slide and when I said I needed to scout ahead, but like, why did I even do that? And there's no indication of a time jump either. It's just a cut to when Joey's on a slide. It doesn't make sense. This whole episode makes no sense again. Also, there was this old game on the computer called Cookie Clicker. It was an online computer game, so we decided to throw in a reference to Cookie Clicker in the show because we were really into it at the time and we were addicted to it. And yeah, hilarious. It's really funny. It's not dated at all now. Oh yeah, another one of my friends was on set that day, so we just had him goof around in the shots. That's great.
Have you found anything, Tom? I haven't.
No, I haven't. Okay then, let's keep searching.
What are we even attempting to do? We're just walking around on a play structure. Like, why would we find an enemy base on a play structure? That doesn't make any sense. Is the play structure itself the enemy base? It can't be, because we're looking for the enemy base on the play structure. I don't understand why there would be an enemy base on an elementary school play structure. That's my old elementary school. Why would there be an enemy base around there? Also, that thing Joey was talking into is like a tube that goes into the ground and connects to another one, and they come out of the ground and they're like kind of like phones. They're on the other side of the play structure, and you can like talk to a person that's on the other side of the structure, and that's what that was. If that was really hard to understand, like actually when you hear my voice, I'm in a slightly different area. That probably made no sense until I explained it, and it still probably makes no sense because I can't explain things.
There it is. The enemy base.
Where?
Oh no, we've been spotted. Joey, you know what to do.
I love how we had 2 different characters played by my friend, and he didn't change his clothes at all, and he looks the exact same, and we're supposed to buy that they're 2 different characters.
Let's get to the base.
If the enemy base is right there like we said, then why didn't we go there in the first place? Why did we waste our time running around on a play structure and scouting ahead and all that stuff? What was the point of this entire episode? There is nothing. It's just us running around and killing people. That's...
You know, it's a good thing that Tom's not here. You know, if he was playing with us, we'd be like, he'd be all behind and
Oh yeah.
and making us like go way back and all of that.
My brother doing improv lines is really entertaining. Also, that character right there is supposed to be Professor Jackson from earlier in the show, the guy that found the enemy base and scanned the lacrosse stick. He's supposed to be that same guy who's played by me, and you can't really even tell. It just looks like me. I'm just sitting there and I only say one line, and that's it. That's all I do in the scene. Also, the lighting is terrible as well, but whatever. That's a given at this point.
We found the base.
Yes, good.
Did 3D World come in the mail yet?
That it did.
Are you playing it?
No, I wouldn't do that. I mean, it'd be lame unless there was, like, 3 people anyways.
So that's episode 7. That's one of the worst episodes of all 9 that we have. It is so terrible. The whole thing is just us running around in a play structure and nothing makes any sense more than usual. It's not funny. Nothing is funny in the entire thing. And the whole subplot with Robert just feels pointless and not funny. Like, it just feels like a shameless thing to pad the runtime. That's like all it is. The whole episode, we had no idea what we were doing, and it absolutely shows here. We just didn't know what the heck was going on. Also, that's the last time we see the character Commander Robert. He doesn't show up for the rest of the show. My brother is actually in the next 2 episodes, though, as, like, enemy soldiers and stuff, so it's not goodbye to him, it's just goodbye to that wonderful character that isn't a ripoff of a stupid Mario Bros. Character at all.
Who told you to think? I don't give you enough information to think!
Good thing episode 8 is when things start to pick up again. Alright, we're getting in the home stretch here. Episode 8, the second to last episode. Before I start tearing this episode apart, let me show you a comment from my good friend Jackson Fulcher from way back when this video aired. He's such a nice man. I hope you're watching this, Fulcher. Jackson's a really smart guy, so that must mean that this episode is way better than all the others, right? Right?
Here we are in our secret hideout. We need to come up with a plan to sneak into the enemy base and defeat the cloaked figure.
Secret hideout? But in the last episode, we were literally, like, right near the enemy base. We were even, like, running up to it, and then Joey was like, let's get to the base, so that must be implying that we're about to get to the base. But we just happen to have a secret hideout right near the base? Where did this come from? And also, why does it look like my mom's basement? One of the things I noticed while watching this show is, why are we even going after this cloaked figure? We don't even know what he's done. Like, he literally is just this dude that we know nothing about, but we're going after him and risking our lives and on this journey to go find him and kill him. Like, what has the cloaked figure even done? We don't know anything about him. Just like, the only thing we know is that he sent a soldier to the base to, like, to try to beat Tom, and that was it. So apparently now that that happened, we have to go find his boss and infiltrate the base for some reason. I don't get it. I don't even know. And I created it. I don't even know what was happening.
I have a plan. We'll use our new shrink ray technology to shrink down to an incredibly small size. And then we'll be transported by Elmo into the enemy base. They'll obviously accept Elmo since he's so incredibly evil. After Elmo transports us, we'll go back to our regular size and defeat the head.
This episode is pretty difficult to describe because a lot of it is basically just us trying to figure out how we can infiltrate the enemy base. And for some reason, Joey and I are extremely crazy and we think of, like, insane plans that make no sense. Apparently we're kind of insane. And whenever they show one of our plans, it's supposed to be in our imagination, even though it's not really clear in the movie. You think it might be actually happening. So that wasn't really clear. I wish I had switched that up. But this is a cool idea for an episode. I actually kind of like this one because there is a lot of ridiculous, fun stuff that happens, and it's actually funny in the way we intended for once. That's thanks to my brother, though, because he came up with most of the ideas for this episode, so that's really cool. I remember back in the day, I wanted the cloak figure to eventually show up and have a grand entrance and have him have this giant cloak and makeup and stuff, but he never ended up showing up, so we just kind of like, we didn't have that stuff yet. So we just kind of had the dude with the sweatshirt and just said that was what we came up with in our brains. The characters don't know what the cloak figure looks like, so they just came up with this thing, whatever that is, which I guess is a fine idea because we don't know what he looks like, so in the imagination, he looks nothing like he would have if he ever showed up. But I guess that's not really that clear in the movie, though. It's not really that clear what we're trying to get across. Also, I love how my mom's preschool stuff is just all over this enemy base. Like, there's posters about butterflies and...
Incapacitated.
Look at the ladybug.
Jake!
This ladybug is grown up.
That must be the part of the enemy base where they teach the enemy soldiers things. Like, they teach them basic education.
No, I have a better idea. We'll disguise as enemy soldiers, and then we'll use the password, which we're gonna find out, to get into the enemy base. We'll find the living quarters of the henchmen, and then we'll plant... a fart bomb. The reason we won't pass out is because we'll have protective masks.
I guess the living quarters of the henchmen has Legos in it. I guess that's another way that the enemy soldiers, another way that they entertain themselves when they have nothing to do.
Not a bad plan, but I have another one. We'll launch a nuclear missile up into space, and then we'll find aliens to help us beam us into the enemy base. Destroy mysterious.
I love how Elmo's just creeping right there in the corner. That's pretty great, actually. This whole segment is actually kind of cool. I really like the green screen effect and the Star Trek reference we did. I mean, obviously it doesn't look perfect, but I think it actually looks kind of cool for what we had. Thanks to my dad for all that. He's the special effects guy, so a lot of that is him.
This plan will be the best plan ever created. This is me. See how cool I look? This is you, Officer Joey. I'll be able to stuff you into my pocket, and then I'll knock over the walls of the enemy base! Ah! It just doesn't seem real enough yet!
I don't even know what to say about most of this episode. A lot of it is just baffling by how weird it is, and that's why I'm proud of this one, because we were just creative and weird, like we were with the other episodes, but this was to a new level.
You know what? Let's just wing it.
Fine.
Sled didn't break while we were filming this. Also, I love how Tom kills me playing an enemy soldier, and then in the next shot, my body isn't even there. Like, I fall over, and then my body isn't there in the next shot. What do you really expect at this point, though? I mean... Alright, so I have 3 problems with that one shot of us walking up there. Problem number 1... Joey isn't wearing the same jacket. It literally switched to a green one. Number 2, why is it snowy? Because in the last episode, it was literally like fall, in the middle of fall, and now it's snowy? How long did we stay at that hideout thing that we have? And 3, doesn't that set look familiar? Doesn't that look any bit familiar to anyone? That's right, because it's the backyard that we used in so many other episodes. It's the same backyard, but it's supposed to be a completely different place. It's supposed to be the enemy base, and it looks exactly like the command center that Robert is at. What the heck? The truth is, we didn't know what other set to film at, and at the time, we were just making goofy videos, so we didn't know how to ask people to use their house or anything like that. So it was just like, nothing, no one really took us seriously anyway, so we were just like, let's just film it at the house. It's a different location, but it's at the same house. Also, we needed to pad the runtime of this episode because it was too short, so we added this little thing right here.
Hello, I'm Commander Robert. I'm interested in your transporter technology. I was wondering if it could possibly be used to, let's say, beam into an enemy base.
Oh yeah, that's the last scene that Robert shows up. It wasn't episode 7, it's this one. That's right. This is... Now we can remember Robert. Also, what? I remember the joke we were trying to do. We were trying to do like a thing where it's many years in the future and we're actually trying to do these crazy plans that me and Joey came up with, because they were just random crazy things that came up with in our brains, and then many years later we're trying to actually do it. So it's kind of like, hey, we're trying to do it, and it's funny, and it's actually happening, I guess. I'm sure nobody watching this ever knew what that meant, but it's kind of a fond memory for me to film this scene. This scene was pretty funny. I kind of like it for some reason. I guess it's my nostalgia, and I also like how I'm just wearing a sweatshirt and I'm wearing a crappy mask on my face. And I'm an alien, by the way. Like Joey said earlier, where he wanted to go into space and ask aliens to beam us into an enemy base, that was kind of what was supposedly happening here many years later, basically. Is that clear? Did that make any sense? Probably not. Alright, so that's actually one of my favorite episodes, despite the terrible parts about it. There's a lot of creative ideas that we had, and some cool special effects, and a lot of funny things that actually happened that were intended to be funny, not unintentionally funny. I actually enjoyed that episode. Episode 6 is probably still my favorite, but this one is just kind of like, it's probably like second maybe. There's obviously still terrible stuff about it, but every episode has terrible stuff about it. This one I look fondly back on though. Alright, so episode 9, the final episode of this season. The 9 episodes, this is the last one. Yes, this is supposed to be our big finale, and it's basically just a whole action scene in our house. That's basically the whole thing. We're just fighting enemies the entire time. And yes, it's in my house, and you can easily tell that it's the same location that's been used in the other episodes for the command center, but who cares, because we didn't have other sets, so everyone knows that it's a different location. Am I right? Yes, that's production value! Woo! There they are! I love how my brother just is this enemy soldier and he just goes, there they are, without a weapon on him. And also he looks exactly like the same guy we just killed on a sled. That's great. That's really wonderful. I also love how we kill him and then in the next shot he goes to a completely different position because we couldn't even check the footage and check to see what position he was in. We completely forgot and we just... it doesn't work at all. But I gotta say, he plays a really good dead person. He could have easily got really hurt there, but we did it. We just did it. Wait, where'd you get that?
I found it.
Yeah. I love how every female character in this show is literally just my sister playing an enemy soldier and that's it. This show would absolutely not be accepted anymore. Even though it probably never was in the first place. Also, Joey has Sting from Lord of the Rings now, the sword that Bilbo and Frodo have, and he doesn't have Pikachu because we lost Pikachu for that time, but now we have him, he's right here! Look at him! Pikachu! Oh jeez, but now we have him. Oh, I'm back. Also, Joey's character came up before my sister in the last shot, and now he's behind her with a shirt on his face, and he lost his broomstick that he was holding. Why would you throw a boot at him? Why would you throw a boot at the soldier that's in your face? Like, you have a gun. Again, you have a freaking gun that you can just shoot him with and then he's dead. It's not that hard. I'm just repeating the same complaints because we don't learn our lessons. Joey's sweater changed again. So once again, we gotta pad the runtime. So we just had another planning scene. Like, we just had a whole episode of that, but we had to have another planning scenario. Even though we just planned, and then we said, let's go wing it. Joey said, let's wing it, let's just wing it. So why didn't we wing it? Why are we making another plan? This doesn't make any sense. This is terrible. I hate it.
So, I'm the panther, you're the lion.
His sweater changed again!
No, it's different. I'm the panther this time.
Okay, whatever, let's just go. Now that's more like it. Also, Joey, stop changing your sweater. Joey's shirt changed again. Oh, screw it, screw it. We filmed this on 2 different days, okay? That's why his shirt's different. He couldn't bring the same shirt. It's all my fault. It's not his, it's mine. Also, good on you, Tom, for actually using your gun. Like the weapon that can kill people really quickly. Good job, man. I'm proud of you. stupid fun scene that I like because of all the sound effects and stuff, but why couldn't Tom just shoot him? And where did he go during this whole fight? We can't even see Tom anywhere. Like, what did he do? Take a bathroom break? Is that what he's up to? Like, Joey's in the middle of fighting this dude with a sword, and Tom just like, screw it, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. I'm not gonna fight. Whoopee. Joey's sweater changed again, but who cares? I absolutely love the scene that's about to play out. This is like one of the most hilariously awful sequences in all of Tom Grimm ever. I'm just gonna, let's just show it.
You defeated all of the other enemy soldiers. But now you must defeat me. And my axe!
Oh my goodness, this show is incredible. The reason that was worse than usual is because we had an actual axe. Like, that was an actual axe from the garage, and my parents were like, you gotta be really careful with that. You're not gonna scratch anybody with that. No. You should not use that. But then we were like, yeah, we gotta use the axe because it looks realistic. And then we had this fight, and it's terrible in every single way ever. My favorite part is when I was supposed to punch him, but I completely missed. It's like the Luke Skywalker kick in Return of the Jedi, only that was done so fast that most people don't even notice. In this show, it's right in your face.
We're here. He's not here.
Yeah, it's the boss's office, complete with a treadmill if he wants to work out in there. He's got an old computer if he wants to play video games. He's got some shoes. He's got weights to work out. This is a really good place for a cloaked figure to hang out at, you know? So yeah, we ended season 1 on a cliffhanger because we wanted to make a second season and hopefully some beyond. And we started working on season 2. Quite a bit of it is filmed and edited, but we never finished it. Maybe I'll do a video on that someday. I'm not sure. I haven't planned to do it, but it's not finished, so it'll be a little bit shorter than the season 1. But yeah, we worked on season 2 and we never finished it because our lives got busy and I was a terrible director and everyone was like, okay, this is not working anymore. Also, that ending renders the entire season pointless because they just went on this journey and then he's not here, and then in the first episode of the next season, Tom just goes back to the command center. The whole season is pointless! Okay guys, if I'm being completely honest, this show is so much fun to look back on. Like, I thought I would cringe so hard rewatching this show because I haven't rewatched it in a while, but I was just having so much fun with it because this show is very nostalgic for me. It taught me tons about filmmaking and lighting and cinematography and writing scripts and everything that you need to do to actually make a good movie. This was my first stepping stones into the world of filmmaking, and I learned so much from making Tom Grimm to the point where I knew I wasn't going to mess up like that again. I knew that I was going to try to make something great when movies like The Wild or Only the Lonely came along. I wanted to not replicate Tom Grimm. Like I said, I've been working on films and stories since I was a little kid, and it's incredible to see how far I've grown. Like, it is insane. I sound egotistical, but I'm not egotistical at all. I've just been proud of myself recently. Going back and looking at Tom Grimm really opened my eyes, and it really was a fun experience for me to make this video, and I want to thank everyone who has helped me out with my films, who has supported me over the years, who has helped me with anything, who's watching this video right now. I want to thank you for supporting this and supporting my work. And I'm getting really nostalgic because I am graduating soon, and it was nice to have a little look back at my old stuff. So because I feel like I've grown so much and I looked back on so much of my film work, I just kind of wanted to make a montage where I show everything from over the years before I even uploaded anything to my YouTube channel. Like, it's just a montage of everything I've done over the years, and it's quick, and some of the highlights are there, and I just want to say thank you to everyone. It has been an incredible ride. And here's a montage of the last many years of my life since I was a little kid that I was just making movies. Thank you all.